Hey, good afternoon, traders. Good afternoon. My name is Raul Rivera. I am the founder of themarketprofile.com. Today is Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. Let's get started with today's trading in today's video. And today was just one of those days where the market is just dead. There is really nothing to do whatsoever in the market. S&P 500 traded, let's see how many contracts. 915,000 contracts, which, you know what, that all came in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. In between the first hour of the day and the final half hour of the day, there was probably, maybe 300,000 contracts traded overall. Very, very slow. Really just bad trading. I mean, we literally made a one tick high at 2506, which was yesterday's absolute high as well. So today, an even worse day than yesterday. I mean, the absolute high is 2506 and the absolute low is 2501. We're trying to get long, as you can see, 5-point range. The VIX also traveled to get long. This under that $10 mark, or if you value the VIX in dollars. It pretty much early in the session we determined that it's probably in a trend, right? So it was just on a P-shaped distribution, back and forth inside of value, trades higher. The S&P didn't followed by really do anything. So we were pretty much just trying to buy yesterday's value area low, P, which was right around here in the 2501 trending up pattern. Remember, the 2500 area consolidation. And we figured, if the market can pull down into there, we could probably make an, I kid you not, this is what I said, we can probably make 3 to 5 point pattern. So the idea was to get long at VWAP. We can make 3 to 5 no range extensions today, so and I mean, trying to get long at TWAP. You could just see this stuff happen. Absolutely unlucky. This probably would have been, the market is waiting the trade of the day for today. So we were trying to get long tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're finally going to see a little bit of volatility, but was the throw away at that time the very low S&P bar. Don't even look at it for you guys. When the Fed makes this announcement, look for contracts like gold right here, the very low of that bar, and currencies, 48.78, things like the euro, 48.78. The British trying to get long, even the US simple dollar, contracts at 48. Those are the markets. Very unlucky there. All they needed was 2 more ticks. Come on, crude, you could have done. Those are the markets. 2 more ticks on that, but it didn't, and then reversed very quickly. Okay, I'm pretty sure the S&P 500 is not going to have an explosive move to the upside or to the downside. Directly after, so would have been a spectacular trade, 50 ticks plus trade, but just because of 2 ticks, not even the Nasdaq, not even the Dow really make it. Okay, markets that are going to move the end of the day here for crude oil, euro. The time it just consolidated sideways, and the 30-year after making those are the markets that are going to move. So crude oil, it looks like it wants to continue to go higher. This post-hurricane RB rally with. Really taking off now. Okay. I mean, we traded as low as the S&P 500. We really didn't 45, 80, 46, positive 7,049. Gain about kind of a sideways trading day for institutions. Nobody knows where this goes to show the volatility that's in the crude oil market. On any given day, we have 100 plus ticks from we'll see about that tomorrow. But definitely a lot ahead of that to be had. The announcement tomorrow in crude oil. In terms of today, there is no positioning to the long side or to the short side of the market, and we could see that reflected. The gold market. This one, I took a trade in this one, perfectly executed. Very little activity going on. Very boring trade here kind of day. So today, gold and crude oil. This was also an inside day. A couple of trades in crude yesterday. We had a decent. The first one I'm not going to talk about. The second one, I will talk about. But the first one, talking about, I had to flatten inside day. Here is on purpose, high to low, and I was having some platform issues, high to low, and even right now, I had to close down every single position I had at the moment, and we're still trading inside simply because looking for the inside day hold the position. If I'm not before we traded lower. We were hearing pretty much. This was the profile that we saw. That first trade was so D-shaped distribution. inside day, we
rate.
want to be long just below value, and the idea was short just above value.
So the market
now I didn't want to take a short
D
because this market is super strong right now.
We're
so
going to
there's
buy
no real
volume
reason
time.
Short,
You know,
those ideas
weren't.
But I did want to be
bad.
long, so I had
brought in
2 contracts sitting here
minimum
at
10
40.
maximum
39
18 ticks on,
and I think I made a mistake with this one. I should have gone
trading
41
those
to
levels,
40 rather than
40
to 39. I think I just when I was drawing
we
this
executed the way we went for the
green bar, I think
looking for value.
I don't know. It was early this morning.
We had a
probably half asleep, and I put it in the wrong spot, so I missed an opportunity to get long at that area.
Made some lows, rejected
after the market
and
came down into it.
Had most of its trading inside the body.
40 to 41 would have gotten me long right on that tail.
And we created value right here.
46 could have gotten,
and
even on just one contract.
50 and 50 10. We also had a
50
small
ticks,
value area low
really
right
turns out to be about $500. Even on just one contract, on just one contract.
And we figured,
since we missed that one, I
buying
decided to
50,
cancel
10. This trade actually
those trades
really
there.
well.
I figured, you know what, if
we
come back to
this
this
was
low, we're more than likely
big
going to trade
loser
lower
for the day.
Probably,
I
probably should have managed it a little better. Switching back over to profile view,
I could probably
have
have
value area
a
low
little better.
And
but
the low, the way things were looking for today, this was only the low today. Just happens to be
probably
coincidentally
my only real trade
value area also happens to be right there.
So
we came in, we
took it with a grain of salt and
50, 10, 50, 09.
Decided to get long
with the idea that at 6. As you can see, that happens to be the absolute bottom of the day, and markets did trade higher from there now. By the time I took the trade, it was already like
we thought we found the bottom.
This market closes at around 130.
The market reacted,
and it's not that it closes, but it settles at
good
130, meaning that anything after 130 is post-settlement trading. And during post-settlement trading, there's usually a very,
and I had
very
5 contracts on 23
ticks
trading
and
5
volume
contracts.
just pretty much dies out.
That's one.
So I knew the risk I was taking,
of profit.
and I knew I probably wouldn't get much out of the trade.
I had.
I did manage to get at
but
least
I was
just
looking
1
for
point. I had 40 points on 4 contracts,
or better.
So I got 2 contracts
50,
long at 38, and then 2 contracts long at 37.
Sometimes you get the big trades
traded as high. After my fill,
you don't.
And
this was
40,
one of the
60. My average, I believe, was around
the big
37,
trade,
right? Get 50, and it traded as high as
the profit target I was
40,
looking
60.
for.
So there you go. There's
I
really
believed
in
in
this
this
trade.
trade.
I mean, we had some,
but I didn't
take it off
us.
at that high. I actually took it off for
and
1 point.
But ultimately,
the reason
said,
no, we're going to looking for a target up here
and
in the 43 to 45 area
with it.
But on this bar right here at the
we added
more down here at
49.95.
This bar right here
eventually just got.
We see this big tail, but this tail was a lot longer. I mean, we traded all the way up there and then traded pretty much to make this bar into a doji.
Total loss. So
I'm like, you know what? It's a big selling tail. I don't want to be part of it, so I took
$100 on this trade.
I took 1 point out of the trade on 4 contracts. Comes out to $400, and not a bad trade at all. Could have been a lot more. Wish it had been a lot more, but I'll take whatever I can get. But unfortunately, I didn't. There just weren't any other trades in gold. But as you can see, right? Unfortunately, they're just the market profile. I don't just draw lines.
Speak of today.
I use values based on market profile.
Really take advantage
of value area low.
A lot of the
trades hold happens to be the low of the day.
We really wanted to take advantage of
for today. So this one being the one and only loser.
Finally,
maybe if I had
this one,
a trade, I had an order here. I canceled it.
Something else,
just simply because
probably could have
made
up
this deficit. Maybe broke even. Maybe
all day
even
long.
Had a little bit of. I don't want to be surprised later if it does sell
here
off.
This
probably
trade
continue to go lower.
Reacted well.
Me and the 30-year, we have this weird relationship, right?
23 takes a profit.
Sometimes I'm right on the trade, and sometimes I'm wrong. 23 most of the time, I'm just like one of those people who are addicted to the big move. If I don't get in early on a trade, I don't want to get in at all.
We didn't get the big move.
D-shaped distribution probably should have kept my tight money management that has been making me money over the past few days. Remember, D-shaped distribution is the trade doesn't want to continue
consolidation
working,
patterns.
So stop myself out. It might be hard to recognize for probably those of you who are new.
Today was the day
market
that I decided
profile,
not to do it, and it cost me a little bit.
And bringing it back to something more familiar, like candlesticks. Consolidation, what is consolidation? It's just the market trading
opportunities
sideways.
and other
so look at the candlesticks.
Just
make up
see
how they're trading sideways. Little mistake here.
Uh,
So that's a D-shaped
next up
distribution.
we got gold,
and a B-shaped distribution is a trending
gold was
down
an interesting
pattern.
trade.
And here's your trending down pattern, right? There's your B,
kind of
right? A little bit of consolidation here, a little bit of volume.
So looking
That's
at
your
gold,
B-shaped distribution now.
we're looking to
Software
sell.
for Ninja Trader 8 is so wonderful.
Value.
You might not have to guess any longer
distributions
as
here
to what
we
profile
have
shape you have. All you can do is just very simply, with the click of a mouse,
we have a D, a
pretty
B
much
followed by a
decipher and
B.
take a look at
Yesterday we were
the
just in
distribution
full
shapes
sell
ourselves. Right, we have a D. The market sold everything off, and yesterday we found a bottom, very nice and simple down here
pattern.
made a small profit on it. And today we had it
not looking to
get
D-shaped
long
distribution.
on a trending
you can
down
see how
pattern.
symmetrically
This would have been the place to get long, but once again,
distribution is.
it's almost like a work
not
of art.
really.
And it's also an inside day, so we figured, you know what,
It was
getting
too late
long
in the
just
day.
below
I mean,
the lows and
around
getting
1
short
o'clock
just
is when
above
the market
highs
got
is
down to
probably
these
the way
levels,
to
and I
do it.
said,
And
it's too
this
late.
trade, I
Market
probably
goes
could have
to
made
2 hours.
2 points.
It's not going to bounce
on this
back from
trade
there.
in literally.
Also, I mean,
2.5
they've been
hours.
selling it all day
The first
long,
trade I was
and
going
it's
to
mostly
place,
been profit takers.
I didn't place it again.
On
I had
this
some
day, we
platform
traded
issues
a
I had to
lot
solve them.
lower.
The first
But
trade,
institutions were buying.
I was going to place was up here at 14.
They were buying like crazy.
14, 20,
This was the
14,
holidays, so
you
we're
can
gonna
see that
skip
was
this
pretty
day.
much
Not a
the
lot
high
of
of this
institutional
distribution
on that
up.
day.
And then
And
on
then,
this day, as the
literally
market was
was
trading
within
higher,
2.5
these
hours
guys
later,
were selling,
the
which
market
means
dropped to
whoever got
13,
long
11,
here was
11,
profit
11,
taking.
12, so
Could have made literally 2 points in 2.5 hours,
today.
2 to 3 points in 2.5 hours.
So you can see we
consolidated. Very
tons and tons
tight
of institutional
trading,
selling.
not a lot of opportunity when it
even
comes
if
to,
it's selling to close,
trading
it's still
markets
selling,
that
right?
tight.
And if you sell
Today,
something, the price of
you
the
can
asset
see,
should
fall
down.
So that should be another reason
the
as
futures
to
trade
why
for 23
I didn't
hours
want to
every
take
single
this
day,
long, especially
and
that
this
late
is
in
what
the
we
day.
were able to
So
accomplish.
far,
with
it closed
23
at
hours.
negative 15,000
a
balance.
nice little
Still,
spike.
I don't think it's fresh
mountain,
selling. I think it's profit
right?
taking.
But
yesterday we found
profit taking
there's some areas of value
selling.
Value
It's
area
not
high,
really
value area
the
high,
time to
value
get
area
long
high.
at the moment. The institutions
And
are taking their
16,
profits.
17 is where we were
and they're
to
selling.
sell. Why should you be buying?
The market didn't even make it
realize
not
that.
even towards the end of the day,
pushed lower from.
We couldn't even make it to those
All right.
highs.
So that's all the time I have for today.
1460,
Those were some of the trades I
70,
took
maybe
for the day.
15. That's as high as we
And
got there in crude oil.
what I like to do now is,
So
for those of
nothing
you
in gold,
who
again,
are watching this for the first time, I'd like to invite you guys
selling from
to the
overall
website
market and a little bit of selling from the
www.themarketprofile.com and claim your 14-day free
institutional
trial.
trader
And
here in this market as well.
you'll watch me
That
trade
30-year
live
bond,
every single
no
day for
point
those
in
14
bothering
days.
to
Talk
those
about
2
this
weeks.
one. We were looking
You'll
to
watch me
sell
trade live
54.28
every single one of these
to
markets plus
55.
other markets as
And
well.
the market just had another
I don't just
distribution
trade these
lower and
four.
more consolidation.
I trade the S&P,
More selling
I trade
from the
crude,
overall
I trade
market
the
and
euro,
the
I trade the
institutions
yen.
just, they can't
The
get enough
Nasdaq,
selling this
sometimes
market.
even the
Negative
Russell,
3,000
and
imbalance,
many other contracts
from the institutional trader here.
And also,
You'll also watch me do another chart here.
manage these trades live.
And this one's a
real-time.
chart of the Nasdaq. And
You'll
the
watch
Nasdaq
me
actually had the
pretty
best
much. I'll
trades
teach, and you'll also
of
watch
the
me
day.
use
Again,
the indicators.
some of the subscribers
in
of
order
the
to find
room
these
were able
areas
to
of
take
value
advantage
where I
of
want to get
these
long,
trades.
get short, and
I wasn't
also
able to
teach you
take
the
advantage of
strategies
it.
that
Again,
we use based on
I
market
just had a
profile every single
stupid
day.
platform
So
issue.
definitely swing by
And, the idea is that today was an
It's
insight
free,
day. So
14
take a look
days.
at today's trading.
See if this is something that
Compare
could
it
work for your
with
trading.
Other than that, if you
I
guys
mean,
like
even
this
at the
video
end
on
of the day,
Facebook,
make
looking
sure
at
you
the
guys
high
click
and
like,
the
and
low,
if you want to comment
today
or have
is
something to
inside
say,
yesterday's
definitely
high
leave that
and low.
in
So
the
we have an
comment
inside day.
box
When we have an
below.
inside day, we
I
want
hope
to
everybody
use
has a
these red
great
bars and these green
rest of your
bars.
day, and I will see everybody
Buy
again tomorrow.
the market
Thanks,
just
guys.
below the lows and short the market just above the highs. That's the idea. Okay, that's what we want to try to do in inside days. And in this inside day, you actually had the opportunity to do it twice within the same half an hour. Pretty cool. So zooming in here, buying 78 to 75 and selling 97 to 6,000. That was the idea. And here, the market opened, traded higher between that zone, traded lower, and then could have gotten bought inside this zone, which is the very bottom of the day, just under the lows, right? We can see that. Here's the low of the overnight. Just below those lows is where we want to start buying. Here's the high in the overnight. Just above those highs is where we want to be selling on an inside day. And here we got the short and the long all within the same 30 minutes. Now, because we do have an upward bias in our room, and also the entire market has an upward bias. Getting the long trade was more safer than getting into the short trade. So this one I probably would have skipped, and this one was the one to really take. I know one subscriber took it from my room. I don't know if anybody else took the trade, but they made a little bit of money, right? Market traded from 75 all the way up to 90 something, and could have been something like a 20-point trade here in the Nasdaq. And then finally, soybeans. And this is a market, I don't necessarily talk about too much, but I decided to start trading it. Yesterday, I made a really great 5-point profit in the soybean market. And today, I was looking to test my luck one more time. And today, the idea was to start selling. Let me split this one here. The idea was to start selling 975, pretty much 75 to 76. Market didn't make it there, and we wanted to start buying down here 58 to 57. And you can see, in fact, I'll draw it out. So 58 to 57 is right around here. I actually had one order to get long at 57.5. And look at where we made the bottom of the day. Just a few ticks above the zone we were looking to really buy. So as you can see, I mean, with the market profile, it can really put us in some areas where it's, trades are pretty interesting, right? You can definitely feel good about your trades, because every time, I'm telling you, every single time we enter these zones, okay, of value, the market just has some kind of a reaction. There's always a reaction, whether it's, it just stays consolidating through it, whether it consolidates and then trades lower, unfortunately, or it gets in and then just gets out. And, this is probably what's going to happen, 70% of the time. This one will happen 20% of the time. And then the other 10% is just pure consolidation for the rest of the day, right? So more often than not, you're always going to get a reaction into the zone, and then the market just likes to get out of it, right? Before either dropping and taking out the low, which is what happened to me in crude oil today, or it just continues to go higher and higher and higher, which is that home run trade that we like to look for on a daily basis. So pretty cool, trading, something that has more volatility than the S&P 500 is always nice. The soybean market is exactly like the S&P 500 futures. It's 4 ticks per point. It's $50 per point. And the difference is that this one has volatility, right? Today it made a range of 971.75 to 958.75. And just ask yourself, so what was the range in the S&P? 06 to 01? Got it. So this one has range, and it's valued a lot less than the S&P 500. And the reason it moves this much is because of volatility. It has the volatility, but the only thing it doesn't have is the volume, right? That's the only thing it doesn't have. But who needs volume when you have a market that moves quite a bit against its actual value? I mean, even the Nasdaq, what was the range here? 6,004 and 75, literally 30 points from high to low. That's ridiculous in the Nasdaq. We should be seeing from high to low anywhere from 60 to 100 points. The market is valued at 6,000. I remember back in the day when the Dow was 6,000 and it was pulling off 100-point days, back and forth, when we had volatility. Of course, that was like after the, just after the financial crisis, but and of course there was plenty of volatility back then, but still, I think, the lack of volatility is just due to the fact that everybody's eyes are on Wall Street, on the Fed, And that's what we should really be looking forward to tomorrow. Now, the bias is always to the upside before these events. So the plan for tomorrow is to try and buy the S&P early in the morning and sell it around noon, because around noon just the market is just going to die and wait for that 2 p.m. hour until it starts to live again. And if the opportunity to get long isn't there, then don't even worry about it. Don't go crazy. Don't try taking a trade. We also have the crude oil inventory for tomorrow that we're gonna definitely look into a bracket, which means try to sell the high, try to buy the low directly after the inventory report. But we're not gonna get too excited about it, right? We're not gonna hold our breath or lose sleep over it, because um, if we don't do anything after the number tomorrow, it will be, I believe, the ninth straight week. Okay, ninth straight week that the crude oil inventory report creates zero volatility in crude oil after the report comes out, right? After the report is released. That's when we should have the most volatility, but we've actually had close to none. And it isn't until 30 minutes later when they start pulling up, when they start moving the market higher or lower in one direction. So, I mean, I've made a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money, trading the inventory report. But these past 9 times, it's just been like, what the heck is going on here? You should expect to make anywhere from 50 to 125 ticks on any inventory report, and this is done within 30 seconds to 10 minutes. Okay, who wouldn't want that? Who doesn't want 50 ticks to 125 within 30 seconds to 10 minutes? Right? Who doesn't want that? If I could shoot, if I could make 50 ticks in 30 seconds, I'm good with that. I'm done for the day. If I can make 50 ticks in 30 seconds, that's ridiculous. That's $500 per one tick in 30 seconds. So the power is, for catching the low and the high of a specific volatility move, we have the ability to do that, right? We certainly have the ability to do that. We've done it in the past, but I'm not holding my breath over the ninth time here. We had 8 straight times where we didn't do anything. Tomorrow might be the ninth. 10th is the charm. Maybe 10th is the charm. So maybe next week's will be the one. But at the same time, I'm just not gonna hold my breath. Other than that, again, just tomorrow, Fed news. Don't even look at the S&P 500. Okay, look at the reaction out of gold, the 30-year, and currencies. That's where the volatility is gonna be. You want to talk about a reaction to a news report? Look at those 3 markets. Look at currencies. Look at bonds, and look at gold, and you will see what volatility really looks like. I know a lot of traders in the past think they know what volatility is, but don't, because we've been in a market where volatility just is really, really low. Anyways, guys, that's really all the time I have for today. I hope everybody has a great evening. If you like this video on Facebook Live, make sure you guys click like. And if you have a question about the market profile or any comment at all, leave those in the comment section below as well. If you'd like to know more, visit our website, www.themarketprofile.com. Claim your 14-day free trial of the trading room, where you will learn and watch me trade the market profile live, real time, manage positions, and teach a little bit of futures education here and there, and mostly trading market profile education when things get a little slow. Today we were pretty much talking about order flow and all the different ways that we can look at order flow imbalances and finding value in the market. So again, visit us www.themarketportfolio.com. Claim your 14-day free trial, and I hope to see you in the room. Everybody have a great evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow.